let's go ahead and start streaming. 3, 2, 1, and I think we are live. Yep. Okay. Cool. So it looks like we are online. We got a good stream health. Let's do this. 8 seconds in. So how you holding up, man? We got that pre-show going.
Okay.
All right. I'll go ahead and drop this on the. I still gotta. Oh, hey, look at that! Luis is already here.
Oh, nice.
I think everybody knew that we were doing the chat already.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've been really pushing in my videos.
Yeah. People. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of good work in your videos. There, you got any interesting ones set up for the week?
I just finished that ranking one with the pools today.
Oh yeah. Kirsten's watching that right now. Wendy's watching that right now, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily sure what I'm doing this week. Probably some win slot stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, some advanced techniques maybe.
Yeah.
So, all right, awesome. Yeah, we'll give everyone just another minute here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and post up on the. I'm gonna post up on Instagram because that can hit 3 things at once. I like Instagram that way. Here we go. Podcast right now. Oh, good deal. Congrats, Diane. Diane just visited Vegas the first time. She's no longer a Vegas virgin, and that's what we love to hear. We love to hear about repeat travelers.
Yeah. It's always nice hearing people going for the first time.
There we go. What you drinking tonight, man?
Just drinking emergency.
It's like I'm drinking vitamin C, trying to make myself feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel you, my man. I feel you. No, it's all good stuff. Thanks for toughing it out with us tonight.
Yeah.
All right. So podcast is up. Here we go. And I'm just going to put in the custom channel URL. I love the custom channel URL. It's just such a good feature.
I'm surprised that I hit 100 so fast.
You know, you've been doing great. You've been very consistent with the content right there, and I think people like what they see there, and you just provide it to them. Me, I just kind of flip a coin. I put up whatever the hell I want for for a week, and people keep coming back. They're like, well, eventually he's gonna make that video that I like again.
Yeah.
But no, you're doing great at it. You're a lot better at this than I am.
Oh well, thank you.
So. Hey, there we go. Kathy's in the live chat.
Nice.
Good times. All right, guys. Well, looks like we got our first 6 or 7 viewers coming in right now, and it's right about 7 o'clock. So I'd say, or 7 o'clock my time, but it's 9 o'clock Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific time right now. Mm-hmm. I say now is the time to start the hashtag Vegas video podcast. Let's get started. So, if that's the case, welcome back to hashtag Vegas Podcast. I'm your host, Ace of Vegas, and I'm here with my co-host, CrisRocks. Yo, CrisRocks, say what's up.
What's up?
All right, and today we have some interesting topics to discuss. CG, what are we doing here at the top of the hour? I cannot remember because I can't reach OBS and talk at the same time. It's not possible.
So, the first part of the podcast, we're going to talk about some electronic implementation of like being able to get drinks as far as the comps. A lot of the hotels on the strip are putting in like some sort of system where you get a voucher, then you get a free drink. And others are kind of following suit. I think the first one was like the Cosmo or something down in City Center. But I think, yeah. So that's going to be a very interesting topic because I've heard a ton of things on both sides of it. So it's interesting.
Agreed. And also on the bottom half of the hour, I think what we're planning to do is we're fixing to go ahead and talk about MGM's 2020 plan. So that ties into it a little bit. It's part of MGM's their little. I'm trying to think what's the best way. They're looking for $300 million, and they're looking to hurt some people and help some other people while they do it. It's a bit of a pity, but we'll see how they do.
Yeah.
All right. Just so you guys know, Cris is out today. She was away on holiday. I think she was having a bachelorette party or a wedding party or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. And she may or may not have married a stripper. So we're gonna find out when she comes back next week. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about this drinks fiasco. So CG, why don't you take it away? Tell us about this. Give us the abridged
Oh,
version.
okay. So essentially, some of the higher end casinos have now put in their slot machines or video poker machines, basically an electronic device that tracks how much you're gambling, either per hour or it's probably per hour to be honest, and it'll just give you a voucher every set amount of money, and then you just give it to a bartender, and you can get a free drink. So that's kind of the short version. I've heard a lot of things about like people saying they've bet a whole bunch and never have gotten vouchers, and there's others have said they've put like $5 or $10 and got a drink immediately.
Hmm.
So I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, I've never run into the machines before, so
It is
so
a
yeah,
pity that we're not going to see these bad boys over here. I made a little overlay so you guys can see the martini glass over there. We got some dice in there, and unfortunately, there is a no sign over that. That means we will not be seeing any more dice martinis, whatever those are. I made that up just now. I was reading the article. I think I'll see if I can link it back in the description box below, or actually, CG, can you drop that in the live chat? Are you in the live chat right now?
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Let me grab it.
Yeah, if you have a copy of that. So if you guys want to read along with us, we do have a copy of the article. It's from Vital Vegas, and it's basically exactly what ComsGuy said. Is we are looking at some, we're looking at you're gonna have to start gambling a bit more. It's just a way for MGM and theoretically probably Caesars and Wynn and all the other places on the strip to go ahead and pad their profit margins by reducing the amount of free drinks that they have to give out. And we're doing free with air quotes over here. You can't see it because it's not a live video podcast. The only video we do is switching these little cards over here. But I'm doing that with air quotes. Trust me, it seems like a thing I'd do. It's rather fascinating. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so CG just
Yeah.
dropped that in there. Thank you, CG.
hmm
All right, cool. So what are your thoughts on this, ma'am? Now, let me ask, because you normally play at, I know you play at South Point, you play a fair amount do you play at Grand or you play at MGM?
I play at
Or Mirage, excuse me, sorry.
I play at Mirage and I play at South Point. It just depends on where I'm staying, obviously. And if I stay at Vidar, I'll play at Aria. I mean, it just depends on where I'm at.
Okay, yeah, because you
But
like Fedora too.
I rarely run into them off the strip because I think off the strip, those casinos are like scared to death of not having people come back. So yeah, I've never ran into them personally.
Gotcha. So when was your last trip up there to South Point? It was this last, just this last summer, right? Or was it last spring? I
Yeah,
can't remember.
it was last summer. Yeah, so it was like a year ago.
Gotcha. Okay, and you weren't having any problem, but this was before MGM 2020 started rolling
Yeah,
this out too as part of the thing, so I'm sure that might be a contributing factor there.
yeah, exactly.
All right, now I'm trying to think. Last time it was a little hit or miss because last time it depended on the property and depended on what I was playing. Video poker, I never have any problems getting drinks.
Yeah.
That's always a given. I always get my Dos Equis and my shot of whiskey. That's what I always ask for. I ask for
hmm
just a well whiskey and a good cold Dos Equis, amber if they have it.
hmm
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's just how it is. I'm not drinking a Dos Equis tonight. Drinking a Heineken today because I just wanted a Heineken, so that's nice.
hmm
But I'm a little off topic. But the last time I went, when I went to Mirage to do some filming, I'm afraid I didn't run into too many cocktail waitresses on the floor. Hit or miss. There you go. Yeah, Louise is right.
Hit or
It's a
miss.
hit or miss. That is right. But yeah, no, I noticed at the bar it was all right, depending on if I was at the bar or not, and what I was playing at the bar. They'd pay more attention to me. If I had if I had over a 20, it was fine. On the floor, if I was playing video poker, it was fine. I didn't spend a lot of time at the tables, so I couldn't tell you either way. And as you guys know, I never play slots recreationally, so I couldn't quite tell. Even with the free play, I just used my free play on video poker, and that was fine. But don't tell my Konami because I used their free play.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of a jerk like that.
Well,
So
That's cool. I didn't know you could use the Mykonami
Oh,
for video.
it's great. It's great. Actually, yeah. So if you guys are ever wondering, My Konami actually has a great reward. So if you guys use your My Vegas comp room, what you can do if you want some free play. Normally, you can't combine it with a comp room, but loophole with My Konami, they let you use it. It's a little less, but they let you use it with a comp room. So it's still free money on top of free money. Just putting that out there. Don't forget about that.
That's actually really good to hear, to be honest.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, CJ, you brought up the article. How do you feel about this? I mean, if they're going to force you, because you should have a Players Club card anyway. Towards the end of the article, they basically break down that from now on they're going to start giving you points on your session. You're supposed to put in your Players Club card, so whatever that is, if it's MGM's M Life or Caesars Entertainment or whatever Treasure Island uses.
Yeah.
I don't know what the devil they use, but whatever that is, you put that in the machine, and then they're supposed to wander over to you when they see that you've put up so many points, or they're supposed to print out a ticket for that. So what are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that change in Vegas? Because it's not classic Vegas.
No, it's not. A lot of the stuff that drew me into Vegas was some of the comps and different things. I started really going a lot during the recession, just because you were able to get a lot more comps and different things. But I mean, if they're gonna do it on like bar areas and stuff, that makes sense because you have a bartender right there. But if they keep expanding out onto the actual casino floor, then I think it might be a really bad thing because there's only so many waitresses around, so many people that will actually help you. But on the bar tops, it's fine, I guess, because it's their way of, being able to tell. But I don't know how many people actually play on the bar tops. Like, I usually don't see a whole lot of people playing on the bar tops.
Wait, you don't play the bar tops?
I occasionally I do, but I don't see a whole lot of people generally. But I also go in the middle of the week, so
right. Yeah, this is true.
That's different kind of crowd usually. So
yeah,
I also
agree.
play a lot of table games. I'll play like blackjack or video poker. But I try to play the more safe games. I mean, not everything's perfect, obviously, but I'm fine with it being on bar tops because then the bartender can just give you your drink, and you don't have to gamble anyway.
Right.
So I think a lot of people who are upset about it are people who would put like $5 in and then wave someone down to get them a drink, whereas you actually have to kind of be gambling now. I guess it's kind of fine. I mean, it hasn't affected me yet, but I also haven't gone in a year, so maybe my opinion will change when I go in August. So yeah.
I guess we'll find out in a bit there. Personally, I mean, I know exactly what this is all about. Now, MGM did post a $2.1 billion profit last financial year in Vegas. Now, they weren't doing quite as well as they'd anticipated, but in fairness, they spent something like $2.5 billion on upgrading properties and getting new properties and all that. So I'm sure they're just trying to pad that bottom line and make their investors happy. And historically, this is always how they've done it. MGM was someone that introduced parking fees. I think resort fees was one of their personal. I don't think it was their exact invention, but they definitely popularized the resort fees, and that was pretty painful there. And I'm trying to think of other terrible things that MGM has done. I remember for a while they were not putting cocktail waitresses on the floor at Park MGM. Like when they first started, when it was still under construction, they kept the casino open, but they were not putting cocktail waitresses on the floor, even on some of the dice games and the table games. And people were so furious about that they had to backtrack on that and get that back in. But and here's another thing. They've been doing this for a while. There are a lot of, at the bar tops for the last 2 years, I recall, it's just been, you put in your $20, and then it was you either have a light, like it used to be, like it'd be a light if you got over so many dollars in the machine at a time. If it was like $40 in the machine, they'd say, okay, this guy is clear, you can serve him, he's green, versus this guy over here, he's not clear, he's only got $5 in the machine, he's red, don't serve him. That's what they'd do. And eventually, I remember at MGM Grand last year, I was at Level Up Bar, the karaoke bar, and I'd play video blackjack or video poker over there too, and then I'd just pull these I'd pull these tags out of there, these little drink tickets and all that. which is a bit of a shame. So, and then I'd have to bring them back. I got to the point where I was just running the same $20 through every single time. I just go ahead and stack up the tickets, and I was being ridiculous. I'm sure it probably annoyed the guy, but he got his tips. He was fine. At the end of the day. And now I think this is just a more controlled way of doing this, and it wouldn't bother me so much if they weren't fixing to get rid of so much staff right now, too, just as part of their 2020 plan. I'm jumping ahead a little bit on the podcast, but they've been laying people off. We talked about it last podcast, and some of those people were senior bartenders, and cocktail waitresses are probably going to be a big target, too, because they have robot bartenders coming down. And no, we're not talking about Starscream. The Decepticons have not invaded Vegas, but they're pretty darn close to being those bad guys there. So that's just something to keep in mind. So on the one hand, I think it's pretty rough because that's a big part of Vegas, and getting the free drinks while you gamble, it's a good incentive, especially for those of us that don't particularly like to gamble, but we don't mind a libation or two. It's a good exchange right there, and it's really what Vegas has always been about. So it takes away from a lot of the element of nostalgia. It's a traditional sort of thing, and it's sad to see traditions go by the wayside, even if they're not necessarily viable in the modern day.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. Do you think there are any pros to this? Let me ask you if there are any pros. I'm going to go ahead and give you back the mic over here. I've been monopolizing that for too long.
Are there any pros? I mean, on the consumer side, if you are able to do what you were able to do, essentially, where you're just able to run the same 20 through and collect tickets, then you're kind of in good shape. But, I mean, for the consumer side, I don't see this helping them a whole lot,
right? Because you have to be an objectively good player to pull that off, and even then you can have some pretty lousy luck, and the machine might just be tight. So,
I mean, if you hit a patch of luck, then it's good. But most of the games, you're not gonna, unless you really know what you're doing, or you just hit a good machine at the right time. I don't think there's a lot for the consumer. For MGM, they're to clean up on it, because then they could track every single what's coming out of their stock of alcohol, whether it's just bottle beer or like a shot. I mean, they already track it anyway, but then they are actually basically able to justify it being paid for, basically. Because I know back when the recession was going on, you could just get free drinks all the time, and they didn't care as long as you were gambling. They don't care. But now, since the economy's so good, I think they're able to kind of get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah,
sure.
That's probably why Waldorf never drops below $600 or a night for a room. You ever looked at the place, Waldorf Astoria?
Yeah, I've looked at it. I've never thought I could stay there.
Oh, I don't think I can either. I mean, it's absurdly expensive. Just looking at that, I'm like, no, it's cool. I'll take my 2 nights at Aria. That's fine. Play Studios is paying for that. I'll let them pay for that.
I mean, if I was baller, I'd definitely stay there.
All right. Well, if we were ballers, we'd probably be there right now. We wouldn't be
exactly
here.
Right.
Well, I think there are a couple positives to it. So obviously for the casino, it's good for their bottom line. I figure between this, them cutting down on their bar staff, and getting those robot bartenders that are really precise with the drinks. And my mom will speak to this too, but she's always like, oh, these are pretty lousy drinks. She always complains about how watered down the drinks are in Vegas. So she's like, oh, they're gonna start. I was telling her about this the other day, and she's like, oh, okay, I guess they're gonna start squeezing every penny on their already penny squeezed drinks. Well, she didn't say it exactly like that, but that was basically what she was saying. So I'm like, yeah, there's that. So on the one hand, it's good for the casino, and that they're not gonna be spending as much money on alcohol. Because alcohol, it's expensive. It really is expensive. I mean, there's a lot of markup on the strip and all that. But if you actually pay for them, they like to mark it up too to make up for all the free stuff that they give away. But it gets expensive, admittedly, especially the top shelf stuff. And if they're giving it away by the gallons, is the thing. Yeah. See, Luis agrees. He says real facts. Stuff is watered down AF. Don't play. That's what's up, Luis.
I know. I went out to Vegas on my 21st birthday, and I got a voucher for free drink. And I didn't drink any hard alcohol or anything, so I'm like, I'll get a Jack and Coke or whatever. Yep. I was a stupid 21-year-old, and it was all soda with basically a drop of Jack Daniels or whatever in it. and ice cubes, and I was like, oh, well, I guess it was free, so
Right, can't complain, right?
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, see, there goes Kathy. She's saying the same thing, too. The alcohol keeps people there. And, if you're not getting alcohol, it's hard to want to stay in one place. You just want to look for the place that it's like, I'm going to get a little extra out of here. If I'm going to be here, there's all this competition. You better do something for me. And, dropping off on the alcohol is going to be difficult. That also... But there are benefits to it, I'd say, too. One benefit is there's going to be a bit less public intoxication, or at least they'll be able to control. Okay, this guy's had 17 free drinks in the last hour. Should probably cut him off. It'll be a little easier to maintain that. Although, historically, I don't, unless it's been a major threat to profits or the actual casino within of itself, I don't really see the casinos doing much about that unless there's someone that they particularly don't like or that they particularly do like. They're very strange in what they allow. 'Cause, some of the casino hosts, they'll bring in an 8-ball for the right high roller. I'm not making this up. They'll hire escorts for the right high roller. And if you're putting down, I guess, $300,000 a hand, if I was in the same position, I get it. It's really unethical, but I get it. That's a lot of money coming in. It's the wrong thing to do, but so it kind of makes you wonder how much that's really going to change things.
Yeah.
So, and I guess for the player too, maybe there is a benefit. Maybe when you realize, well, playing here isn't really getting me that many drinks anyway. Looks like I got to go through. You're going to go ahead and cut your losses a lot earlier. Maybe you'll go to the table games where there are better odds anyway than the slot games. So maybe this will inspire people to play better games and learn how to play better so they can be out there longer and take advantage of the system.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of the off-strip properties will get more people. Everyone's going to want to stay at Luxor or
that's a pyramid.
Strip, the first-timers.
Yeah.
But I do think that a lot of the hotels off-strip will get more business because I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're scared to death because MGM and Caesars own so many properties.
Oh, it's 2/3 of the Strip. Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, they own most of Vegas. So if you have a smaller place like Silverton or South Point or even all the hotels on Fremont, I don't see them really going full bore on it. I just don't see it.
Well, if it gets real bad too, and if my Vegas drops off, I think this is going to turn into a Binions channel here. I'm very keen on going back downtown, Golden Nugget. I can get rooms for the Four Queens now. I can get rooms at Binions Gambling Hall because they're opening their hotel tower back up. And I understand they're a little more liberal with the drinks now. So putting that out there.
That's what I've heard about Fremont as well.
Let's see what else the live chat's saying. So Luis is saying, yep, true. Real facts, definitely. Kathy's saying the same thing. Who else on the live chat has an opinion about this? Go ahead and just comment below. There's no YouTube jail. You can just go ahead and jump right on in and let us know what you think. So that does remind me one other thing. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. So where else do you think they can really go with this just no more free drinks policy? Do we think we're going to get to the point where all they're going to do is just start getting you 2-for-1 coupons or something like that? Or what do you think they're really going to do with this?
I don't think I don't think they ever will completely take away comped drinks, but they will be maybe a lesser quality. They might be watered down. They might hire less staff or go and have more of a AI approach to things where you will get less drinks, even on the Strip, because the whole point of giving free drinks is so people make stupid bets. That's the point. And
it keeps them on property, keeps them making bad decisions, and bad decisions often involve spending a lot of money. You're right.
And also, a lot of people aren't going to go spend like $7 or $8 on a beer in the gift shop or whatever. They'd rather either go to one of the restaurants through the M Life properties or whatever, because you could get all the My Vegas rewards, or they'll just go somewhere else.
Right.
I don't see it going super bad. I just see there being a change from what traditional Vegas used to be. I just think it's going to go more technological. And usually I will tip like $2 or $3 depending on how fast the service was, and I'll just keep tipping, and I get a lot of good drinks usually. That's one way of kind of preventing it. because they're gonna want most of these waitresses work off tips, so unless they go full robot, which I think a lot of people won't like because people like the interaction. Um, the tips keep drinks coming. Ultimately, the money will, I think, went out because people. I mean, they don't want to end up like State Line where everything's a ghost town because it was poorly managed. Like,
Right. Yeah,
I
kind
just
of
I
like
don't see
or
that.
Lucky Dragon for that matter, because
Yeah.
that wasn't managed very well.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Hmm.
You want to open it up to live chat for just a second?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Um,
Let's go ahead and see what Magic says. So 1818 Magic says, I had no problem getting drinks last time at the Palms. Or, excuse me. He said, I had no problem getting drinks at Palms last time I was there. I think it had to do with the fact that I was sipping $3 a beer. Yeah, I
mhm.
think that's pretty reasonable. That's definitely a tip city there, and whatever keeps them in the line of sight for you. I'm usually probably going back to the money myself. I don't go to work just because it's fun, honestly. So
Yeah.
I understand that. Looks like we also got ASF 224. I think it also has to do with people going to Vegas for other things besides gambling, like clubbing or restaurants. They still want to make money off that. Oh, there you go. There's another thought. Yeah, that's
That is
yeah.
good.
Vegas has changed. I mean, even
Mhm.
as early as the 1990s. Who was it? Steve Wynn whipped together the Mirage, right? And he had
Yeah.
this thought that people should come to Vegas as a destination because he figured out. You know what he figured out, right? He figured out Disney World.
Mhm.
Now, what do we know about Disney World? All right, what's the first thing that you think of when you think about Disney World?
Environment more than anything.
It's
Price and
environment.
environment.
It's
Yeah.
environment. They keep
Yeah.
you in there, right? They have everything on
Yeah.
property, and you know how they do it. It's basically just a mall. Yeah, everyone's thinking like it's fun. Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly it. But here's the thing about Disney. You know what it is? It's just a gift shop. It's
Yeah.
it's a gift shop with roller coasters and shows and all that, and it distracts you from realizing it's a gift shop. And you don't
Hmm.
really think about it, but anytime you go to whatever park, they're like, you got a million gift shops here and there, and instead of casino games, what they have these fun little restaurants in between. They have these fun little rides, like, oh, okay, while
Hmm.
I'm waiting over here I'm gonna have a beer while I'm waiting for Space Mountain. Then when you walk out, you walk straight into the Space Mountain gift shop. When you get off the animal safari one in Animal Kingdom, you walk straight into the gift shop over there. I have so much Disney junk still left over from when my parents took me. When I was like 9, I mean, I still have this stuff, and it
Hmm.
just stays ingrained in your memory. It's pretty insane. Let's see, Diane, regarding the drinks. The only drinks we got there at the Mirage were at the Mirage pool area. Never got any when the slot machines. Maybe because we weren't high rollers. Okay, so it looks like Mirage was being a little stingy there.
They also,
Yeah,
well, I mean, Mirage also, if you use My Vegas for the buffet, you get the free alcohol. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
true.
wine or beer,
That is my
so you
favorite
might
bit
be a
about
little
it.
more tight with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they already got a lot of free alcohol. Do you guys do yourselves a favor? Don't go before lunch. The breakfast and brunch buffet is just, I'm not gonna say abysmal, but it is definitely subpar. It is a radical change from the carvery and the dinner buffet. I'd much rather go for the dinner every day, and the pricing isn't too bad. But if you get the My Vegas comp, it's free anyway. Just stock that gift,
Yeah.
stock that one.
That's the biggest pro tip. Never do breakfast buffets. Always go
Yeah, never do a
lunch
breakfast
right
buffet at
before
all.
you're paying.
Yeah,
Do lunch like about a half hour before dinner starts. They won't kick you out usually.
yeah, they know better. I mean,
Yeah.
they probably want to, but at that point, it's just like who cares? You're in there. You're
Yeah.
in there. They're trying to keep you on property, so they have to play
Exactly.
nice. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Kathy in the live chat. I go for the
Nice.
shows, gamble as I walk through. So yeah. So
Yeah.
everyone's going for the shows now, and even in our generation too. Shows are a bigger deal. That's why Bruno
Mhm.
Mars is there now too. People actually plan an entire vacation around there. My buddy Robert, we're supposed to be going to his birthday party in a couple months here, and he's going around an electronic dance music convention.
Okay.
So we're supposed to be going to that concert too. I
Cool.
might see if I can just sneak in on Saturday instead and not go and not go to the actual concert because I don't want to
Uh huh.
go. But it'll be fun though. It'll actually be fun. I might enjoy that anyway. But no, that's kind of a thing. And another interesting thing. Here's the thing I'm wondering about. Millennials. So now that the wealth is slowly shifting. It's slowly shifting. It isn't actually moving. But now Gen Xers are getting to closer to middle age. Millennials were coming into our 30s. Late 20s, early 30s, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're the target demographic. We don't drink very much.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, you figure, party generation, that's what everybody's about. But no, people are enjoying a lot of low-key stuff. It's better to be an introvert, which is a good thing. It's a more positive thing now. It's cool, if you just want to chill, hang out, and people are, marijuana culture is a real huge thing too. So maybe that's another, signal of the shift right there. Maybe it's less profitable to even give away drinks, or maybe it's pointless to have people on the floor to give out drinks because nobody drinks.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Yeah, kind of makes you wonder. I mean, before it was a whole health conscious thing, and everybody was like that everywhere else. But in Vegas, it still wasn't a big deal because in the '90s it was like that. But nowadays it kind of makes you wonder, especially since Vegas doesn't have that what happens here stays here vibe anymore. I mean, everything's on Facebook, everything's on Instagram in like 37 seconds.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Any final thoughts on this before we switch gears? I guess we could roll straight into robot bartenders before we talk about MGM 2020 because that kind of ties in a little bit.
Okay.
But any last thoughts on the whole drink tickets with the card there?
No, not really. No. I think we covered quite a bit.
Sick of the nonsense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, real talk, fam. So I guess the last thing I can really say about it is, if nothing else, get yourself a Players Club card. Everyone's got, there are always old wives' tales and rumors like, oh yeah, all they do is track your play and they make the machines tighter, they make them looser or whatever. Especially if you're on the Strip. The buildings are literally made of gold. Mandalay Bay and Mirage, their windows are made of actual 24 karat gold. You don't pay for that by having, by giving away money out of the slot machines anyway. They're going to be bad regardless. And all the player's card tells you is how much money you lost. So all it's going to tell you is how much money you lost before it hits your bank account anyway. You may as well get it. Get the discount, save yourself a little bit of money somewhere, because otherwise it doesn't look like you're going to save yourself any money at all. So it's a give and take. Yeah. But if nothing else, get the Players Club card, take advantage of the comps, hit them somewhere, because it's going to be hard for us to beat the casinos going forward. And that's all I have to say about that. Well, actually, that's not true. I can say a lot more about that, but that's not the point. All right. Next one is the MGM 2020 plan over. Who's in charge of that one? Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
That's me. Okay. All right. Gotcha. That was my topic. Okay. MGM 2020 plan. All right. So that is the card that we're working on right now. And the MGM 2020 plan is a bit of a big one. It does tie in a little bit to this. So with the drinks, I think everything that MGM's doing going forward. Oh, Devpool's in the live chat. I got to do my traditional Captain Devpool. Hang on just a second. Captain Devpool. Nah, just Devpool. All right, I got that out of the way. Had to get that out of my system. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and talk about MGM's 2020 plan. So I put a link in the description box. I'll see if I can slide that into the live chat over here. But our best friend, Jim Murren, that I have a lot of 4-letter words for, maybe not him personally, but his company's made some pretty rash decisions lately. They've been doing a lot of layoffs, first off. They also did that scummy thing where they sued the survivors of the Mandalay Bay shooting. And I mean, that was kind of a scummy thing in the first place for those lawyers to try and pull for the victims instead of just, helping them just get the funding. They decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and attack a major corporation that has just as much money, or if not more so than these people here, just to make their lives a lot more miserable. And so we can take 40% of whatever gross they get. So that's a scummy thing they did. A lot of scumbags doing a lot of really terrible, gross, inhumane things. But that's not what we're getting at today. So Jim and his friends over at MGM haven't been doing great things. They've been getting better. They lost the lawsuit, and they took that with a grain of salt too. They have been trimming down a lot of jobs at MGM, but in their defense, it's been a lot of middle management, so at least it's not the little guy at the bottom. So I guess I'll give them credit for that. I probably ought not, but I will give them credit for that. And they haven't really cut off the My Vegas comps, and I guess they're still comping even the little guys. Not as much as Caesar, but they're still comping some of the low roller players too. So we'll go ahead and give them that. And they're still expanding their portfolio. They just got into New York City as well too, I believe, with the Empire City Casino. So that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, I digress. The MGM 2020 plan is all it's all one big stunt. That's basically going to add another $300 million on MGM's bottom line every year going forward. That's $300 million or so on top of the $2.1 billion that they already posted from Vegas, Macau, and their other little regional casinos, which I'm not really sure what the point of those is, but, what else do? Actually, CG, what is the point of these little regional casinos? I think I have an idea, but what are your thoughts on that?
Internationally or just
no, let's just say domestically here in the States. We'll just go ahead and keep it here in the States.
Well, I think the strategy for some of these big companies like MGM specifically is to just get a little of the piece of like certain not demographics, but regions. Like they bought you said the Empire Hotel in New York. They have a few, I think one or two hotels in Detroit. So I think they're trying to get at least their name out there as hotels.
So that's a good point. The brand recognition, that's true.
Yeah, I think they're trying to grow the brand up, even if people aren't necessarily going to gamble at them. And I know other places like Detroit, people usually get comped slightly better.
Right.
Because you have to actually get people who want to go to Detroit or who are locals.
Right. Because who wants to go to
Whereas,
Detroit?
like in Vegas, most people are like, oh, yeah, I don't mind going to Vegas. Right. That sounds like fun. I mean, no offense to anyone who lives in Detroit.
No, absolute offense to Detroit. Nobody likes Detroit. No, actually, that's not true. That's not true.
I think that's kind of plan. They're trying to build their brand with maybe smaller hotels kind of everywhere. Just like how Caesars has a whole bunch of properties in California, a whole bunch of horror stuff. So they're trying to get. I think they're just expanding their brand everywhere.
I think that makes sense.
Is it working? I don't know, but it probably is. I mean, they're putting a lot of money into it. So.
Actually, you might be onto something here because I guess here's the thing. If you are traveling, let's say you do have a local casino. Let's say you have a local MGM casino, and then you decide that you want to go ahead and go to Vegas. I guess if you're a player, if you're a local player, and here's another thing to be said about being a local player, you're probably a big fish in a small pond. Even if you're only doing something like, oh, I did $1,000 this last visit here in spring, I'll do $1,000 another in the summer. I've only gambled $2,000 or $3,000 for the year. At a small local casino, that's a much bigger deal than it is in Vegas. So proportionately, they'll probably push you up a little farther.
Yeah.
Like it might be a pearl thing in Vegas, but here it's like, hey, I'm going to treat you like a gold member. I'm going to give you a host and all that, especially since we don't have too many people running around. I'll give you a host. So it gives you, as a player, a little more pull because honestly, I could look at Expedia or whatever and check to see, hey, how much is the Flamingo? How much is this? Or if I'm a small local player and at my local MGM hotel, and for the record, there's no MGM property out here in Denver, but let's pretend that there is. If I pick that and I say, hey, you know what? My family and I, we want to go ahead and go vacationing at the New York. My daughter likes the New York. She wants to go see the roller coaster. I can call my host here locally and say, hey, can you hook me up with a deal? I mean, you're my host here. You take such good care of me here. Can we move some of those comps from here over to there? Or alternately, I can just get back on Expedia. You don't have to really threaten them. I mean, I've never had to threaten a casino employee. Obviously, I wouldn't physically threaten them, but, I've always had the mind to threaten, like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and walk across the street to see. Oh, Luis is dropping off. Good to see you, Luis. Thanks for dropping by, man. But no, you always have a chance for threatening and saying, hey, you know what? I don't have to take this from you, MGM. I'm going to walk across the street to win because they'll treat me right. And they'll usually slow you down and say, hey, let's help you out over here. So obviously, if you have clout at another casino, they're all one big corporation. Your host can get on the phone with the host over in Vegas and say, hey, I got a guy. I know he's not a big guy in your eyes over here, but you know what? He means another $6,000, $7,000 a year for us over here. That's a bigger thing for us. What can you do for him? And they'll usually do a little something for you.
Even if it's like a comped basic room or whatever.
Yeah, even if it's something small, it's better than nothing. And I'm sure they'll be able to work a little something out. So I'm sure that's part of it. That's big. And the expansion has been a big part of their MGM 2020 plan to try and pad that bottom line. They've also been working on some other optimization too, aside from the organizational changes. They say that their big three working points are going to be organizational changes to improve operating efficiencies. So it's talking about cutting costs around food, cutting costs around beverages, cutting costs around staff, and those last two are especially volatile. We were just talking about the beverages in a moment, and no, apparently it's only 2 points. Because I thought that this last bit about Jim Murren was something about solid finish to 2018. I thought that was a point, but apparently it was not. It was just formatted like that. So shame on their press release for that, and shame on me for not reading. But their only other point was investing in the company's digital transformation to drive revenue growth, which I think I've seen coming for a long time because, as you guys know, this channel's based pretty much explicitly around My Vegas Slots, and that was a big collaboration between Play Studios and MGM to get more people out there. And I think the exact vision behind My Vegas was that people were seeing that, especially our generation, so younger Gen Xers, older millennials, we're spending a lot more time in the digital realm. We've been playing on the phone. We've been playing N64 since before we could walk and all that. We like video games and regular casino games, especially now that we know these things. We know how casino games work. We know it's all RNG. And we're capable of understanding RNG. We're capable of understanding the math behind that. So the regular stuff isn't working, but stuff like My Vegas and getting into the digital realm, being able to play a game wherever, being able to play in the sports book wherever, is a really big deal. So that's the best way that they're going to capture people, because now they won't be able to get people to the casinos as easily, since there's no longer a need for a physical casino if you think about it. So, because realistically, aside from the experience, I don't go to a local casino out here in Denver.
Yeah, I worked at a local casino, like in food service years ago, but I don't gamble there. It's just like a little Indian casino. But I never see anyone really win too big. When I worked there, I never really did. But they would have high-end whales for the area, I guess,
right.
But not necessarily you got to Bellagio or one of the high-end hotels out there where they're having people, like you said, dropping $300,000 maybe,
right?
A hand or something. But I find it hard that they're laying off a lot of people. But due to technological advances, it's not surprising. I did a video early on my YouTube channel back when I was still figuring things out, and it was about how technology is going to affect the My Vegas game, if it will, because it's a part of technology. Will they ever go to a model where there's a subscription base where you're able to earn M-Life coin? They're not coins, but points or whatever. But I think the casinos the technology's there. I don't see them not doing it anymore. It's just everywhere. Even with Luxor, they have the esports arena.
Oh yeah, the esports. See, there you go. That's capturing another demographic, because I like the esports arena. And you know what else I like? The level up bar at MGM Grand, because it has karaoke and it has a giant Pac-Man machine. And I was saying, I think I told you about this. Wendy loves that thing. She actually stopped us. We were on the way to a show or something like that, and she was like, "No, we're gonna play Pac-Man here for a hot minute." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and see about that."
Was it a skills based slot machine, or was it?
Oh no, it was the Pac-Man arcade game, just giant.
Oh, okay.
That's all it was. It was not a slot machine at all. It just took dollar bills. You put it in. You couldn't win anything, and you know what? We had fun. We got beers and we had fun.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just have to do that. They're still making money off it.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
No, I mean honestly, I kind of figure. I mean, if I opened a casino, oh yeah, that's another thing. All right, we'll talk a little more about it during the post show too. But you also got to come up with a theme for a casino because we're gonna do
Yeah.
pitches for that next week. So anyone in the live
Awesome.
chat, don't forget to go ahead and come see us next week. We're gonna do our casino pitches for what we're gonna build on the Vegas Strip with our imaginary $3.2 billion that none of us have. We're gonna start that Patreon. Just go ahead and click the description box below. Ace of Vegas Patreon
Yep.
for the hashtag Vegas podcast. We just need to raise about $10 billion. I'm sure all 800 of our all 1,000 of our combined subscribers will get us there.
Yep.
So, but no, I was actually just thinking like the skill based gaming that's more fun.
Yeah, and you can do it socially if you have people too. I mean, that's kind of a way, I don't want to say of hacking, but if you have like a two-player thing and you're just using the same bankroll, I
Right,
mean,
absolutely.
someone's obviously going to win.
Yeah, eventually. So I
Yeah.
think it's just it's a better deal, really.
hmm
All things considered. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely very it's a very sort of it's a tricky sort of thing here, and I'm not really sure how I feel about the plan. So knowing what you know about the plan, that it's all about padding profits and increasing just increasing brand recognition. Do you see any benefits to the players here? Like, is there a reason that this 2020 plan is going to help us out as casino goers or resortists in our case? Because I mean, you and I, we don't really
Yeah.
gamble that much, and I know Cris doesn't gamble that much either. So just all things considered, and really, I don't think anyone on this channel really gambles much. We just like to play the game and like to get the free stuff. So as non-gamblers, what do you think the benefit of what Jim Murren's plan is here?
Well, I think the benefit will be seen beyond 2020, to be honest, after a lot of the technology starts coming in and is implemented. As long as they don't touch My Vegas in a super negative way, where they just like take a lot of the high-end comps like out, I do see it actually kind of being better because they're really trying to kind of hit the key demographic, which is people like us. So I think the environment will be better. I just don't know if the gambling aspect will be better. I don't know if they'll lose money. I mean, they'll lose the older people, but the older people will go and find their own places. I mean, most older people go
Well,
off
actually,
strip
I
anyway.
might disagree with you on that one there. No, I
Okay.
don't have a lot. Well, no, not to be terribly offend. I don't have a very large viewer base over 45. I think last time I checked the stats, it was only about 7%. But I mean, it's a pretty good viewer base. A lot of
Yeah.
just a little over 7-8% of my viewer base is around a median age of 50. Not to say that that's old or anything like that. Just to be clear, that's just older than me. That's all that means.
Yeah.
And I'm 29, so, so
Yeah.
that's a different thing. But I don't think that's going to be a linear comparison. I'm sure people that liked the old school Vegas, they might be a little turned off by it. But usually by 50, you've got a little more income coming in, and then a mild
Yeah.
change in prices. Like this seems like it'll be a bit of a mild change in prices. I don't think it's going to hurt you quite as much, so you might not mind as much. I can't. I'm just speaking for my own ideas, my own theory of what I'm going to be like when I'm 50 or hopefully 60 and still going to Vegas and having a good time. But I'm definitely not trying to speak for everybody, and that's currently actually in that demographic and actually knows what's going on in there, because I'm just guessing at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, but go ahead, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I'm trying to think what I was talking about. I was talking about the technology and how it would probably be better for the consumers, and I don't know how much gambling will be changed, obviously, but I don't think they're going to change a lot of My Vegas stuff rewards wise. I don't think they'll ever take the comps out because that's what's drawing people in.
Right.
They might kind of restructure things. They might add other hotels. They might add different partners over time. But I think My Vegas is the key. They have all the data out on it now. It's obviously working because Binion's and Four Queens and Wynn and all these other casinos wouldn't be doing it.
Right. I was just gonna say that. I mean, I think 3 years ago it was only the My Vegas stream of games. It was
Yeah.
My Vegas, but on the phone, My Vegas, but blackjack, My Vegas, but it's called Konami, and then My Vegas, but you run around and pop balloons. Those were
Yeah,
the My
exactly.
Vegas games, and Yeah. Now you got Wynn. Now you got Comp City. Now you got Binions. Now you got Four Queens, like you're saying too. I think even Caesars is attempting to ape my Vegas game. I thought that was super deceptive. Can I talk about Caesars right quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys saw the video. I did a video on this too. About the Caesars slot app. Do not pick it up. They're totally trying to ape my Vegas there, and they're pretending that they're a real rewards game. They are not. Do not believe them. They need to get their act together because that's not a real rewards game. What they do is they only reward you if you purchase chips, but there's so many free chips there, but there's no real incentive of playing. It's just, if you play slots, great. You play it for the fun of it. If you win, whatever. If you lose, whatever. It doesn't actually matter. They only care if you buy chips or not, and it completely misses the point of the game, and it's just the worst. It is literally the worst thing ever because it's not even honest about the fact that it's not getting you real comps. Like, yeah, you get points on your total rewards card if you buy chips, but why? When you can just bet the money in the casino, you can bet the same $100 in the casino, and then you have, you can get a free drink, a tangible free drink. You might even win some money if you're absurdly lucky. And who knows, maybe you can get yourself a real room comped and all that instead of just getting points and maybe get... There's no point to it. It is so bad. It makes me angry. All right. No, I think you're onto something with the real rewards because it does drive back traffic, and if it wasn't working, everybody wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't see all these games pop up in the year. And I think Terrible's actually just released a game. I haven't looked at it. Spoiler warning for next week. Next Monday, I'm actually going to look at the game. So if you guys tune in next Monday, I'm actually going to do a first playthrough of that one.
Yeah, that game is made by the same people who make Cities, Binions, and Four Queens, so I'm sure it'll be similar. I haven't played it yet either. But Station Casinos has an app where they have the same Caesars model where, we'll give you some, points on your club card if you buy chips, and I'm like, but
what's
I have
the point
no
of buying
idea.
Chips? It's just I can wait till the next day and get some free ones, or I can play my Vegas, get some free ones, and then get something out of actually playing. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's just such a mind-boggling experience. Maybe if it was just a slot game in the first place, maybe, but now, and especially since you can see what your competition's doing, why not adapt to the competition? That's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is very. I just don't understand why they want to even have some sort of easy store where you can collect, all the other games and go through and get comps, because Station Casinos, when they were a part of My Vegas and the Play Studio games, had some of the best properties like Red Rock and
they had some great stuff over there.
And you'd get fully comp stuff. I mean, it was really nice back in the beginning, and then they pulled out thinking they could do the same thing, and then they just had a horrible release, and a lot of people were upset because they were able to get those free rooms and stuff.
Oh, actually, speaking of which, too, now that Resorts World is coming out, My Vegas and My Konami, too, they usually have some Resorts World stuff just around the world, in Macau and Taiwan and Philippines and all that. Do you think Resorts World Vegas is going to give away some stuff with Play Studios? Because that, I know it's not M Life, but that would actually get me to that hotel. That would get me to the north side of the strip.
Yes. I think that will happen because I think they have a lot of companies that they work with back east, where especially with Japan and China and all these other. But they have big investors, probably within MGM, or they have to work with them at the very least. So I could see it happening. They already have a relationship. I don't know if it'll be fully comp nights, but it might be some free play and, kind of what My Vegas does, where it's a comp. Your night's comped, but it's a resort fee and parking is what you'd have to pay or whatever. Whereas Wynn is completely free.
See,
I'm actually surprised.
See, that's what we got to do. One of these days, we got to figure out how to get a completely free trip. Just hybridizing Wynn, going to Binions exclusively to drink, then come back, only buy buffets at My Vegas, and stay in the room the rest of the time. Completely free trip.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they want you to pay resort fees and stuff
Yeah.
because they are comping so much stuff. My
Well, and
Vegas.
that's part of the 2020
Yeah.
plan too. They're just trying to keep that money going up there. So in
Mhm.
addition to the parking fees, which I heard a rumor that they're increasing too, and then they're expecting to
Mhm.
save 25% in labor, and then another 25% in cost, and then
Mhm.
with all the new casinos that they're bringing in and all the new traffic that they're expecting to bring
Mhm.
in, they're supposed to make up the other 50% of their 300 million doing that. So by the time
Yeah.
that they get through in 2021, that's another 300 million just across the domestic resorts here in
Mhm.
America, specifically Vegas, because that's
And
their
I
main spot.
and I also think with the Raiders coming to town, they'll have a lot more people coming to
Yeah.
vacation. And I don't know how much that'll affect my Vegas stuff, to be honest.
I mean, maybe not too. Although they did have some, they had some tickets for the
Yeah,
Las Vegas Aces for a while.
they did. Yeah,
Not
I
not
saw that.
affiliated, by the way, guys. No, the Las Vegas Aces and I are not affiliated. Of course, if they wanted to sponsor me, I certainly wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
Um, just
Uh,
FYI, if anyone's listening.
they also had some Knights tickets for hockey, and I mean they do have
Oh,
some
it's
good
true. I
tickets.
forgot about them. The Knights are those guys are on fire.
I
About
know
as
that.
fire as they can be on ice.
Yeah. So I mean they've done well. I don't think they'll do NFL tickets by any means,
Oh, well, you never
but
know. Maybe yeah, million loyalty points. You get some pretty
yeah.
decent NFL ticket.
I
I'd
mean
be all
yeah,
over that. I'd play that. I'd do that.
I would do that. I mean I'm not saying they won't do it. I'm just saying it's like gonna be like the cruises where they'll have like you know 10 or 20 rewards and they're outrageously overpriced, but everyone wants them.
Hey, it's
So.
hey, if you got nothing else to do with those, with those points. I mean,
Hmm.
personally, I have over a million. I don't have enough PTO to go to
Yeah.
Vegas 6 to 8 times a year.
Yeah.
I don't always have the time and all that. So,
Hmm.
sometimes I'll just have, 1.5 million loyalty points just sitting in the bank, and I'll just keep playing and playing. Next thing I know, I'll have 2 million loyalty points. I just quit playing for a while, and then I don't start playing until after a trip where I've spent
Hmm.
750,000. So, that's why I just start doing stupid things like the Maverick helicopters and all that.
Yeah. And there's some of the rewards that a lot of people like, but I mean, yeah, I generally don't. If I didn't have the channel, I wouldn't be playing all the time either.
Right. Yeah, just because,
But
you never find anything else to do. All right,
yeah,
so there you guys. Looks like MGM's 2020 plan is working because we're still
yeah.
talking about it. And you know what? That's their second point is the digital stuff. That's what we're focused on,
Hmm.
and we are gonna make that work for them.
Yep.
So this is our fault.
It's our fault for promoting them.
We're promoting them. We're getting them their $100 million,
Yep.
and we're telling people to play for free. That's the other confusing thing.
I know.
So I don't know what to do about that. What do we do?
I don't know. I don't
Oh
know.
man. Oh, that reminds me too. I'm looking at the card over here, and I have. So I'm sure everyone's wondering why I have a picture of the Tokyo skyline in the lower left-hand corner of the screen over here, and that's because MGM's 2020 plan is actually rumored to be a big part of Tokyo gaming. So Japan's gonna legalize gambling, but but if I read everything correctly, they only have 3 casino licenses. Or
Hmm.
3 gambling licenses in general. So I'm not sure if that only means 3 physical casinos or maybe only 3 companies can be there. And I'm wondering about MGM because they do have a pretty strong, it's a pretty strong tie to Play Studios and obviously to Konami Studios as well, since they
Hmm.
sponsor Konami slots in part. So what I'm betting is Resorts World is gonna get a slot in Tokyo.
Hmm.
Period. They're gonna get a slot.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm not sure how they feel about Steve Wynn. It's either going to be Wynn's successor or Adelson. I
Hmm.
betcha. That's going to get a slot over there. Sheldon Adelson's insane, and I'm sure he knows a guy or knows a guy that knows a guy.
Yeah. Hmm.
And they got time. It's not going to be till 2025, so they have time to build something huge. But MGM is supposed to be a front runner too because these
Hmm.
Japanese investors are very excited about reducing costs and improving efficiencies, and that puts them in a better position to earn one of
Hmm.
those licenses. I'm not sure if it's. I'm not sure how the whole process works, even here in America. I know it depends on your moral and ethical standing, and if you have any mob ties, or you got to have like a pretty
Hmm.
clean track record to even get a gaming license. But it's not like there are only 3 of them in the entire country. Whereas in
Yeah.
Japan, it looks like there's only going to be like 3 of them in the entire country.
Yeah, that it's insane. I think MGM will end up getting one probably,
Right.
or I don't think they'd be doing as much to really. I mean, they're going to be very competitive,
Right.
but they wouldn't be doing all this extra stuff for to look like they're stable as far as like firing people and
Right.
reorganizing their whole company. I think they have one. Resorts World definitely will get one.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
I
here's another one. I'm
yeah.
reading the article right now in the Las Vegas
Uh,
Review Journal. It looks like Sands Corporation and Wynn are both trying to get in there. It looks like Caesars is too, but with
mhm.
Caesars slot, with Caesars stock right now, I don't know, and I don't think they really fit the Japanese ethical standard of
Yeah.
transparency there, especially with that BS they pulled about their slot game that I'm totally not
Mhm.
salty about, for the record. But I'm salty about it. I'm not salty, but I'm salty definitely. So if
Yeah.
there are any Japanese investors that are listening and working on the gaming license, don't give it to Caesars. Mark
I don't think
Verstore's
Caesars
screwing up.
I don't think Caesars has the money to build a big, nice property out there either.
Oh, they don't even have a CEO right now. I
Yeah.
mean, I know they have
So
money. They dug themselves out of bankruptcy. They have capital,
yeah,
but
but
it's like
they,
really.
but yeah, I don't think Japan's gonna. I mean, unless they get a CEO that's already connected in Japan or something, or they have some sort of connection. I just don't see it happening.
Oh, see, that's a thought. That's a thought.
Yeah. I mean,
Wonder if MGM
I
has
just
any friends over there that aren't part of that really aren't part of Konami there. Do you think he's
mm,
friends with Kojima? Well, no, Kojima's not part of Konami anymore either. So
mm,
I guess he wouldn't have that pull regardless.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, Resorts World probably MGM, and then I'd say either win or like I'd probably win.
Okay, so we're
But I
thinking
just don't
win.
know.
So we're gonna get a win in. So we're gonna get a Encore Tokyo probably.
Probably, yeah.
In MGM Grand Tokyo
Yeah.
and Resorts World Tokyo.
Yeah, I think the biggest slam dunk is Resort World. I just it makes too much sense
Well,
to
you
not
don't
have
think
one.
that the Macau property is going to cannibalize it? Because they got a couple properties in Macau and in Philippines and Taiwan.
Yeah,
They got one in every Southeast Asian country right
yeah,
now. If they get it in there, I guess technically not in China proper, but Macau is close enough.
hmm yeah. I don't know. It just to me it seems like it makes too much sense. But I mean, maybe they don't get one. But I just to me it seems like they would be the most logical one that
Yeah, I
because they
agree.
already have all the connections in Asia. So it just to me it makes sense. MGM makes sense as well. And then most likely win. I mean, I don't see Caesars. I just they don't have a CEO, no stability, and then Sands would really have to like pull something out of their hat. I think. I mean, not that
Yeah, I
they don't
think
have the
so.
capital, but I just think that they're not. I don't know how well known they are compared to the other three. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
Asia, like obviously people in Asia know when MGM and Resort World. They're already brands. I just don't think Sands. I don't know if it'll translate as well.
this is
But
true.
hey, you never know.
Well,
I
okay.
mean,
Well, final thoughts on MGM 2020. So, how you think it's a two thumbs up for MGM from a consumer's perspective, or two
yeah.
thumbs down and they need to get it back together? What do you think?
I think it's probably one thumb up, one thumb down. I think it's. I'm still kind of like in the middle on it. I mean, I think in the future it'll be better, but right now it's going to be kind of rocky. I think for a lot of consumers. So it's kind of like a wish-wash answer, but I think in the future it'll be good. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The sad part is I really want to hate the plan. I really do want to
Yeah.
hate the plan because it's bad for a lot of the employees.
hmm
But ultimately, I think for the target demographic that they're going to go for, it's probably going to be ultimately more beneficial
hmm
to players just on the merit that they're stretching the reach out more, especially if they
hmm
have local casinos and you just want to go for a staycation and you have that option.
hmm
Ultimately, I think it's going to be a good thing, but I'm not going to like that it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that. It looks like it's the top of the hour again, Matt. That's all the time we have today. Wanted to thank ComsGuy here. And actually, guys, let's go ahead and give ComsGuy a round of applause over here. He got through the whole podcast. He is sick as a dog right now and won't admit it. He's been dying the last 3 videos. I've heard him in the last 3 videos, and he's been dying here. But, he is just powering through it. So let's go ahead and give him a round of applause right quick, too. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that, bro.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, then, ComsGuy. And I think you got a catchphrase now. What's your catchphrase now? If you want to go ahead and do your sign off.
Yeah, I'm the Comps Guy, and I'm getting to Vegas faster.
And this has been Ace of Vegas, wishing you strong hands and happy spinning, you guys. We'll see you next week.